Hi, everyone. We are live, and you are snowed in with Jen and Leticia Remauro. Great to see everybody. Jen and I are talking about the fact that if we keep this going, should the title be snowed in? And I said, yeah, because we're snowed in by government. But we've decided that the name of the uh, show should now be Snowed
Just
because it feels like the American people are getting a snow job from, or maybe snow job from their government. So write in the comment section what you think the name of
we
the
should
show
let
should
them
be.
name our podcast. I'm not
What's
too
that?
thrilled. We should let them name our podcast. We should let
Okay.
them. And I'm wearing a hat because I had an emergency and I have a wet head now. So I'm not just a moron that wears hats in the house like people wear masks in their car.
So
So
you're snowed and you have a wet head.
I have a wet head.
Okay.
Wet.
So, but just the top of the head. The bottom seems okay.
Well, I put the hat on and I just blow dried the bottom.
So Jen, so you got to tell everybody because not everybody knows. You live really, really close to some celebrities have been in the borough the past few weeks, huh? You want to tell everybody about
Yes.
what's going on
Very
in
lucky.
the North Shore?
The North Shore. Well, I live next door to the Dirty Fingernail, Pete Davidson. He lives in the. He does. He looks like a dirty fingernail. Like he lives by like 10 blocks away, if that. No, maybe like 4 blocks away. So Kim Kardashian's been in Staten Island. She's been next to me, my arch nemesis. She's been feet away from my house. I haven't yet seen her. She's been to the movies. She's been to the atrium. She's been to Angelina's, but I haven't run into her. But Pete, I haven't seen in a very long time. And let me fix that camera. I don't know if I really want to run into them. Everyone here doesn't seem to really get all crazy if they see a celebrity in the North Shore. It's because most of them are so stoned and on drugs, so they don't even realize what's going on in the North Shore.
Yeah, but I mean, it's ironic, right? I mean, when you were just breaking into comedy and you were younger, you and Kim Kardashian used to have this. What was it on MySpace? You used to have
Twitter, no, Twitter, not MySpace, Twitter.
Twitter, yeah,
Twitter.
Twitter
It's
feuds.
dead to get her angry, but because now we're in a politically correct world, I get myself in enough trouble. But
Ah,
I said something pretty good.
well, Robert Shelley just joined us. Hi, Rob, and he's saying vote no to NASA and yes to filibuster. Okay, wait, I don't know. Yes to allow the filibuster or yes to block the filibuster. I mean, a lot of stuff has been happening. We have a lot to cover. Yesterday, Joe Biden had a really, really bad day.
He always has.
Um, yeah, but yesterday it was like it just kept going. I mean, it started out in the morning. Allow filibuster. Okay, if you were going to say something else, I was going to say, boy, oh boy, we have some fights for
Long
you,
podcast.
Rob. Hey, Maisie, how are you? It's good to see you, Trap Annie, on board. Um, he's asleep. He's the Walking Dead. I think I saw a commercial where it was Weekend at Bernie's, but it was Weekend with Biden, and it was really, really funny. And they were carrying Biden's dead body around, and that's what it feels like. But yesterday was really tough, Jen. It started out with our vice president on MSNBC, not being able to answer any questions. I mean, she was thoroughly embarrassed and she's getting pissed off when they were trying to dig deep about the border, about other things. And then it just got worse and worse, with Biden pushing this voting rights stuff between the Washington Post, commentary about him being a liar. They gave him Pinocchio noses.
Remember anything? They can't remember their lies, so they have nothing to really say. That's what it
It,
is.
and he's absolutely not taking questions from the press. He's trying to say that he's handling COVID really well. We had
Like,
what
yeah, perfectly. We're good.
33% approval rating he had yesterday, and so that was the lowest of his presidency.
Everyone,
Really pathetic.
that's it.
It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Hi, Angela Ricca, how you doing? Well, yeah, she is a moron. No one wanted her at all. Anyway, that's what Rob Shealy says. And you want to know, Jen, this is the thing I don't understand. they had so many candidates, Democrat candidates, so many women, really competent women running for president. And, Kamala Harris finishes, in the back of the line, and they pick her to be vice president. I mean,
Well, it's because honestly, I feel she's a woman of color and she's a woman and of color. So right there, she moves to the top because of what's going on in the country. So it was almost like a wild card. Throw her in, what could go wrong? And when they kill him, she'll become president and we'll have our first female black president. And if she was a good female black president, that would be wonderful, but she sucks. So, I mean, they're screwing the whole country left and right. But that's why they put her there. That's exactly why. So they made sure he got in.
Well, they checked off all the boxes, and it's not the country; it's the Democrat Party. Where it's not about a person's talent or capability.
And as an older white female, so they picked a beautiful younger African American female, and they were right.
Well, they weren't right. I mean, all right, yes, Biden won,
but according to voters, that's.
Well, Biden won. The election went to Biden, and people base that on him being a moderate, but we see that he's now anything but a moderate, and it's really, thank God for Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, because those senators, I want to start this program off by giving a big round of applause to both Senators Sinema and Manchin for putting the American people before their party's politics. So, we
need the bullshit button, and we need a clapping button. You need to get that bullshit button from upstairs.
Well, I'll get the bullshit button, but here's you get 10 bells for doing the right thing for the American people. We need more politicians to do that, even in the Republican Party as well. Hey, Tony Herbert joined us, Jen. He says, hey, family. Hey, little brother.
Miss you. I have to sit on my hands because I saw myself on Dee Savino's podcast, and I look like one of those sticks that go in the wind that go like, I can't sit still. I don't know what it is.
What are those blowy dolls?
Like, oh my God. Then I had a Rubik's Cube in my hand in the middle of the podcast. I'm like, what is wrong? Do I have like adult ADHD? I can't still.
No, you're Italian. That's the whole thing. You're Italian. Angela says the bell. Hello. And Rob Shields says the same thing. He says it's the Italian hand, and indeed it is. So back to Sinema and Manchin. Fantastic that they did the right thing for the country. They need to hold strong. They have balls, both of them, thank goodness. And I would like to see some of our Republicans have some balls. But I don't know that we're going to see that right away.
They're not allowed to have them.
Yeah. Jen, what do you think about Mitch McConnell? Do you think that he should be reelected as minority leader? Lindsey Graham said that if he can't get along with Donald Trump, he should not be reelected to leadership position. What do you think?
I'm not a real big fan of his, so I really haven't put much thought into it, honestly, to be honest with you. That's the one thing I have really I don't really care. I really don't. I'm not fond of him, but.
Well, I have to tell you, I think Lindsey Graham was absolutely right. And Rob asking, did we hear Lindsey Graham? Yeah, we did. Whoever is going to be in that leadership position has to get along with Donald Trump. Back in 2015, I wrote an op-ed about how the leaders of the Republican Party had to embrace Donald Trump if they wanted to connect to the American people. And that was when we had 19 Republicans, including our own Governor George Pataki, running for president. And it still holds true today. Donald Trump is, and I still question whether Joe Biden got more votes than anybody else in America, but that's another show. Donald Trump is definitely the voice for the Republican Party, and any politician that is in the party needs to embrace him if those politicians want to move forward. And I don't
think he's going to run again. I think that Candace Owens should run. I don't think what? I don't.
Don't like her. Don't like her.
I do.
Don't like her. Like what she stands for, but she's young. Her experience. I think she's shot to stardom. I'm not begrudging her stardom. I think she's common sense. I like that about her, but she rose too fast, and I appreciate her commentary on politics. But I want to see her get her hands dirty. I want to see her involved in a campaign. I want to see her, in government
Hasn't done
boundaries.
that. Well, then DeSantis can run and she could be VP. There you go.
I think that Kristi Noem it would be a fantastic presidential candidate in 2024. But it looks like Donald Trump might run. I think that he's going to be like a lightning rod. Absolutely, I do. Do I think that he should learn his lesson that the president isn't the most powerful person in the world and that the media is? Yes, I think that launching the media company, smartest thing that he could do. Needs to give us conservatives a platform where we could be heard. And that's where you influence people.
Well, if he loses, it's going to be really bad. So, because now everyone says the elections were rigged. So even if people were going out to vote for him, it's not necessarily that he's going to win.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think that
us as a party.
Well, I mean, the biggest problem that we have is knowing that we have election integrity. And right now, it doesn't seem that we have that.
No, and now everyone's going to be allowed to vote. Can you imagine, like I said to you the other day, going to Mexico and living there for 30 days and then trying to go vote in their elections? Can you imagine? You can't even take a taxi without getting shaken down by the taxi mafia over there. But let alone vote. You'll be beheaded on the side of a mountain. But here, just come in, vote, do whatever you want. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And now Adams turns his whole stance on that around too.
Yeah, well, fortunately, it's only in New York City, and I don't think it's going to withstand a court battle because the New York State. The New York State voting laws say that you have to be a citizen. But let's see. I mean, Andy Lanza is leading the charge. Our Senator Andy Lanza, Andy is leading the charge to strike down that city council bill that is now law. So hopefully he will be successful in doing it. But when you said, can you imagine? No, I can't imagine. America is the only country where we have to apologize for being patriotic. And we need people with balls to say, screw that. That's not happening. I'm not apologizing for being patriotic. Every other country puts their country first, as it should. That's the whole idea. That's why you have a country. That's why you have, that's why you have allegiance to your country. And the people that are coming here are seeking a better life. And, and I understand that there are people that are seeking asylum, but they have to go through the process. If we just open up our voting rights to everybody, then how valuable are our voting rights?
Well, it sort of is already opened up to everybody.
Well, it sort of is. It is after the 2020 elections. We have no idea, who actually who actually voted in that election and not. All right, Jen, tell us about the Burger King murder.
Well, they caught the guy. He was a homeless man. Apparently, they said he's a homeless man, but he worked at another Burger King. That's as far as I got with that. He was a person of interest, which means it's a person. They got him. I don't right now. That's what he is, a person of interest. But he did work at another. I think his name is Winston something. I had it up before, but Adam said, he goes, I don't care about your condition, because someone said about poverty. Oh, maybe he's these women, these activists in the Bronx had the nerve to be like, well, maybe he was homeless. Oh, okay. So you're homeless, you get $100 and you shoot a girl dead. Totally fine. No, that's absolutely, it's beyond anything. And Adams had said, I don't care about his status, about where he is in life. It's unacceptable. He will be prosecuted to the fullest extent when they find him. And now they found him. So now we can all sit back and watch this. But as I told you yesterday, and you said, I think that the young girl is going to wind up being the poster child for New York City to people like Braggs to stop the shit and actually realize that when I can't wait to see this guy's rap sheet. because I'm sure of it. He's been, given a death ticket for a gun, a legal handgun. I think that this happening, unfortunately, it had to take a young life or any life, that she will become a poster child to prosecute people for even non-violent, non-felonies, because the guns, you don't have an illegal gun on you unless you're intending to do something with it. There's absolutely no reason for you to be carrying one unless your intent is to rob, kill, shoot. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
He's saying that he's not going to prosecute anybody that doesn't have a felony complaint against them, and that's his stance on things. And again, he campaigned on this. What Kniff was his opponent, and the police supported Kniff. And I wanted to just scream the other day when the business community got together and said that they were going to try to stop Rags and force him to prosecute the Manhattan business community, because you know damn well that they all voted for Bragg. They voted Democrat. They didn't vote Republican, and now they're crying. And because people don't pay attention, and it's so important. We have a district attorney's race coming up in 23. People have to pay attention to the candidates for district attorney.
You don't have to vote down the line. I don't vote down the line.
Well, you don't have to vote down the line. But, for our district attorney, I have to say we have a great one. Mike McMahon, Democrat, Blue Dog Democrat, does the right thing, tough on crime. He was a former congressman, a former councilman, great guy. His wife is a judge, great family. And, he's somebody worth crossing the line for, unless, of course, Senator Andy Lanza decides to run for district attorney. And then, we got to see what happens there. He's he's a great guy. Hi, Kim Salvo. Kim joined us. Kim, we need your commentary. Should our show be called Snowed, Snowed In, Snow Job, or something else? Especially if we're going to keep on going on Fridays. Rob Shirley says you should all demand carrying weapons if they aren't going to keep you safe. Keep yourself safe. I agree. The one thing that I did think to myself was, if Bragg's not going to prosecute illegal gun ownership, does that mean that those of us that have hopped through hoops to try and get a gun license won't be prosecuted if we have a gun in our home that we have not yet had a license for? I don't know. Maybe he is a Second Amendment guy. Kim Salva says she likes Snow Job. It's a little risque. Snow Job is a little risque. I don't know. Well, listen, I'm sorry. Are you new here? Do you know me, Jen? Risque. Kim says Bragg didn't break any campaign promises. He said he would not prosecute. He spoke at my community board 6 meeting this week and gave all his rhetoric. You're right, Kim. And that's why I'm like, I'm floored and flabbergasted that these business owners are now all crazy and saying, we have to do something about him. He promised to do exactly what he's doing, the same way Bill de Blasio promised to do exactly what he did to New York City, and people voted for him. I can understand getting it wrong once, but getting it wrong twice? No. That just shows you that people are taking their party as their religion, and they're not even paying attention to the people who are running for office. And that is a problem. When we start doing that, when we start just voting down the line instead of really reviewing candidates, we have a problem, because you're going to wake up and you're going to get exactly what you voted for and be pissed off that you did. Speaking of voting for candidates and politics, Supreme Court. So yesterday, everybody was celebrating because they shot Biden down and said employers, company owners who have 100 or more employees did not have to mandate the vaccine. And everybody clapped and cheered. But at the same token, they upheld that if you're a healthcare worker and your employer, there's a mandate for you to have a vaccine. And what?
Imaginary vaccine that works.
Well, they mandated that if you are a healthcare worker and working in a hospital, you are mandated to have the vaccine. Why? Because the hospitals all receive federal money, and so the federal government is allowed to tell you what to do. Now, they glossed over the fact that it's not a law, that Congress didn't vote on it. They glossed over the fact that you can't, do this without an executive order. They glossed over the fact
That it
that
works.
what?
That it doesn't work.
Well, that wasn't in question. In question is can you mandate an employee to put something in their body? That was the question. So the Supreme Court was mixed in their decision. So, Jen, I don't know if you realize this, but California, but we're facing a healthcare worker shortage all over the country. So in California, get this, you're going to love it. Everybody listen. If you are a healthcare worker in California and you are vaccinated and test positive for COVID, you can return to work. But if you are a healthy person who is unvaccinated and do not have COVID, you are not allowed to work as a healthcare worker.
Yeah. Makes total sense. So all the vaccinated people that got vaccinated and got COVID could go give it to themselves. It just makes absolutely no sense. I hate this country.
And this is under the guise of keeping people safe, right? So think about what I just said.
Oh, I
Anybody.
heard you.
Anybody. I need commentary on that.
You can't comment on it. You'd waste brain cells doing it. It doesn't even matter. It's like the same thing with the testing. If you go out as a healthcare worker and you have COVID in New York, and after 5 days, if you don't feel any symptoms, you could go back without a test. That makes absolutely no sense because I know someone who I'm very close to who had no symptoms and still had COVID.
I think that the biggest problem that we face, and Mazi says that's why there are no employees in hospitals. Bingo, bingo, bingo.
That's why they're dying, because there's nobody there to take care of them, not because they have COVID.
I think we talked about it on the show last week that we know two people who had pneumonia who were sent home from the hospital, with basically a few meds and good luck because there's not enough healthcare workers to care for them in the hospital. So, Hochul, that idiot, that boob, Hochul decides that we're going to mandate that everybody in the hospital has to have a vaccine. And so now we have a shortage. And so what happens to people? How many people are dying because we don't have enough healthcare workers helping them? That when this is almost like the Cuomo nursing home scenario all over again. It's like the cure is worse than the disease. I mean, just insanity. If they would just test, and I don't think that any healthcare worker would be opposed to testing for COVID on a weekly basis or every 5 days or whatever's necessary, because if you're vaccinated, you can carry and catch the virus. If you're unvaccinated, you can carry and catch the virus. So you're equal. The only thing the vaccination does is if you get it, your symptoms are milder.
That is bullshit. That's not it. That's not it, because my other half had the vaccination, was way worse than I was, and I didn't, and I had it way more mild. And that's how it seems to be with everybody.
But you had COVID already. Listen.
So do people I know that. I don't think it makes it mild. Go ahead.
Well, let's presume that the COVID vaccine is similar to the flu shot. Because the flu shot doesn't stop you from getting the flu, right? It just
care if you're vaccinated not to work because it's just more comfortable for you. Who cares? It's your choice if you want to be bedridden for a week or 4 days. What does it have to do with your career and your job?
Well, because the narrative has gone so far off the rails that what we just talked about, if you're vaccinated but sick with COVID, you can work in a hospital. But if you're healthy and not sick with COVID but unvaccinated, you're not allowed to work in a hospital. That makes no sense. And we have turned logic and common sense so upside down that people are like, oh, you're not vaccinated? if you're not vaccinated, doesn't mean you have COVID. And if you're vaccinated, doesn't mean you can't carry
I
COVID.
think best of both worlds. I have half vaccination and half not.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
full on
And you
antibodies.
have antibodies from previous COVID. So
There's
you've got it all.
segregated
They should,
body. There's going to be hospitals for the vaccinated and hospitals for the unvaccinated soon, and
well,
restaurants.
it's
It's going to be.
happening. They're only giving therapeutics. They're only giving the monoclonal antibodies to people who are cancer patients or are African American.
But they're saying that that doesn't work against the Omicron. It doesn't work. They
I'm
took
t-
it out.
but
I don't
did you
know.
hear what
I'm
I
not
said?
saying it's wrong. I'm just telling you that's what they were taking it away from the hospitals.
Well, the problem that I think we have is that we're not making therapeutics available. But anyway, so the other hysteria is that um, we have two instances, one in our city council and one in Congress. In city council, our friend Vicky Palladino, who won, who took a Democrat seat uh, in Queens. So bells for Vicky. Hello, Vicky. She won a Democrat seat in Queens, cannot go on the floor of the city council to vote because she's not vaccinated. I invited her out to lunch yesterday, but we realized we couldn't go anywhere because neither one of
Oh,
us
we
is
should have her
vaccinated.
on the show.
We should, and we will. And now Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Pelosi has decided that she needs to vote from the box, that glass box that Pelosi built, so that people could vote for her for Speaker of the House, because she's not vaccinated. And to add insult to injury, Pelosi yesterday handed out N95 masks to all members of Congress and told them they must wear them in the chamber. Guess where the masks were made? China. China. So, the insanity that's going on in this country is, it's scary. It's scary because we've got a situation where, up is down, down is up, nothing is logical. And I don't know. I fear for what's going to happen in the future, with your son. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. The science is okay to follow, as long
Science
as
is
it's,
science anymore.
well, science isn't science anymore. Anyway, I mean, we've got a situation where we have to follow the science for COVID, but now if you have a baby, you can't assign it whether it's a boy or a girl, right? Science goes out the window once you have a kid.
They decide when. Did you see what AOC did? She went to Florida to a drag party, bar, whatever, no mask, hugging on everybody, sitting down having drinks, but yet telling everyone here you can't do it. And she went to Florida, to DeSantis' state, to go have fun, not follow the rules.
And then she yelled at DeSantis because DeSantis kind of mocked her and said, you all you people who are, locking down your own constituents are hanging out in my state.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff, and it's I just don't know. I don't know what the future will bring. Let's see, what else do we have? We have Kim. My friend got shingles from the Pfizer booster. Pfizer is now making a shingle booster. Kim, you're not the only one I heard that from. My neighbor here got shingles from the booster as well. And so I guess, what are you saying, Kim, that we're following the money? We should follow the money?
Of course.
Well, the therapeutics
Pfizer has the pill already. What are they waiting for? They want to see how many people are going to get their shots, get vaccinated. Then they'll let the pill go out when they've lost all hope in them. In the 20% of the smart people like us that refuse. Then they'll give us the pill.
Yeah.
Fix the flu, which has been around forever.
Well, listen, I'm not a scientist. I'm not claiming to be a scientist, but
Need to be one.
Right, you don't need to be with. Right. Does anybody out there think that COVID is really close to the flu? That the
Oh,
symptoms are similar, the shots are similar, the fact that they can't get a hold on it is similar. I don't
well,
know. Andrew
yesterday,
Dorman just joined us. Hi, Andrew. Okay.
yesterday, I think it was the Washington Times. They had all of the symptoms listed, and I kid you not, you can Google it, of the new variant. It was dry cough, middle of the road cough, wet cough with phlegm, fatigue or a lot of energy, hungry or not hungry. I was like, am I fucking what am I thought there was gonna be a thing at the end that was like, we're kidding, haha, you jerks. And diarrhea or constipation. I said, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I said, oh my God. I was reading it, I was dry. I'm like, is this for real? Who wrote this? It was basically it had any kind of symptom or non-symptom ever in your life is attached to the new variant. I was like, oh my God.
Wait, is that the what is it? Flovid or
Now,
or
Florona. Called.
Florona?
But I don't know if they were talking about Omicron or they were talking about Florona. How do you know that you have the flu and COVID at the same time? How do you know?
I'd love to know. I'd
I
love
should
to
be.
know.
I'm gonna get that test and kid everybody like they're doing us. I'll be like, how do you know? How do you know when Corona has a fever? Sometimes I didn't have a fever or stomach ache, fatigue, throwing up. Like that's the flu. But the flu decided to come back. He came back from vacation. He sent his emails back in the office.
That's right.
And
Back in the office.
back in the office, CDC will list there was no flu for 2 years. 2 years, and one person had the flu.
That's
Now
right.
now everyone has the flu with Corona.
With Corona, right? So now it's Florona. Okay. So Rob said that AOC said that the reason that everybody was talking about her being down in Florida was because they wanted to F her. Rob, I think that people want to F her, but I don't think that in the old fashioned way. I think that they really want her to.
Inanimate
I think
object.
they want her to F off. And there's somebody in the universe that might actually take her out. Tina Forte for Congress. You should all go over there. Tina Forte, Forte for Congress. She's a friend of ours. She's running for Congress. Go make a donation on her site. Tell her that Jen and Leticia sent you. We'll have her on the show eventually. She's a great woman, and she's taken on AOC, so that's great. Hey, Lucille is here. So I had the OG Corona. You had the OG Corona. And for anybody that doesn't know if you have Omicron or Flovid or Florona or or Delta, the one thing that I think not with Omicron, I think with the other ones though, is you lose your taste and smell.
I
So
lost my taste for a half a day with this one, and so did Jimmy. We both did it the exact same time, which was really, really weird.
and Jimmy he didn't have it before. So he was a virgin and he got the Omicron. So you do lose your taste and smell.
You
So even
can,
with
and a lot of people have. My neighbor across the way, she did. She's fully vaccinated. She lost her taste and smell for 2 days so far. But who knows what variant it is? She could have the OG variant.
Yeah.
We could have had the OG variant again.
Well, I don't know. I don't. I'm just not. People that I've heard with the Omicron, they tell me that they are not really feeling sick. A lot of people are being tested and they're coming up positive and have zero symptoms. But most people are telling me that they have a runny nose and a little tired.
Delta, when everyone was dying of Delta, I didn't even know I had COVID. I thought I had allergies.
So we got to put you in line for the Florona. That's the only one you haven't had yet.
I need it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go like that guy in Thailand who went on the social media looking for hookers, but you had to be positive. He only wanted COVID positive hookers. Look it up. It's on the New York Post. It's amazing. You think our country's fucked up?
I don't think our country. I don't think our country's fucked up. I think that right now the people have lost their mind. I think that COVID insanity is a thing.
No, this is started with.
People are losing. Rob Shelley is laughing over the COVID positive hookers. Why not? I mean, it's going to be a fetish now. Our government is effed up. That's right, Rob, and that's the problem. Our government is effed up, and so let's talk about January 6th. Okay, because as everybody knows, that's I've been labeled an insurrectionist.
Hell, aren't we? Because we're insurrectionists.
Yeah, Jennifer's been labeled an insurrectionist because we were in DC.
Go.
Yeah,
For being a mile away on the lawn.
Yeah, right. We were a mile
outside
away
of the building.
We were in DC, and so therefore we were an insurrectionist. So did you hear that now they at the hearings, at the January 6th hearings, they were questioning people. Congress was questioning the Attorney General and the DOJ. And one of the congressmen asked if anybody had been charged with insurrection. Mm-hmm. And they said that they hadn't charged anybody with insurrection. Well, guess what? After they were embarrassed because, insurrection, they didn't charge anybody. They're charging people with insurrection now. So, and the people that they're charging, they weren't even there. They weren't inside the Capitol. They have no proof that they were inside the Capitol. Well, this guy is a Navy veteran, and he was there on January 6th. And he never went in the Capitol, but they say that he had a conversation with an organizer, and now they're charging. He was in solitary confinement for months, by the way, and they're saying that he was bringing heavy weapons.
It's like premeditated murder almost.
Now we can't even. So how long is it going to be before they get us for talking badly about the government? You can't question the government. You're not allowed to question the vice president. She gets pissed off at you and gives you, a face. You can't question the president because he won't answer any questions. And now, if you want to reform your government and if you want answers from your government, you are an insurrectionist and will be charged as an insurrectionist.
And you get thrown off Twitter too.
And you get thrown off Twitter. Well, that's the first step. First step is you get banned.
Then you're in trouble. You know you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, when the Twitter people come after you. But it's amazing to me that a country that was founded on people questioning, government, is now going to stop us from questioning government. So is that going to be for all protesters now? And how come it wasn't considered insurrection when the women with the pussy hats in 2017 were laying down in the floor of the Capitol and and pushing through cops?
They were Democrats. That's why.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. I keep on expecting the media. I know insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, but I keep on expecting that our media is going to actually report things fairly. Never happens.
Newsmax or OAN, you'll get some of it.
Well, some of it. I mean, look.
They don't even know. They're lied to too. So,
well, look what happened to Fox. Fox used to be on the money, and then they all of a sudden went COVID insane, and now they're like this. They're like this. But so that's why I really hope this Trump media gets off the ground.
I think that they had Parler already. It sucks.
Well, Parler didn't even have a chance to do anything before.
It's still up again. They opened it up again months ago.
Did they?
Yes. It's just
I was watching the news hoping to hear about it. I guess not.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, I mean, listen, you're either going to have everyone saying the exact same thing from the exact same side constantly, or you're going to have the other side muting you and not letting you say anything. So, I mean, it's I don't know. I don't think he's going to make a media company. I don't think it's going to. Now there's grifter. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a couple of them out there. I think that I think that is really important that we have balance, because I still believe, I still am a true believer. I'm a patriot. I'm a believer in this Constitution. I'm a true believer. And I still believe that somebody's going to come through for us in the media and start fact checking for real, not just the conservatives, fact checking, writing articles that are factual, talking about both sides of an issue and not taking a position. Angela Rickus says, cannot seem to find info for rioters and looters that destroyed our city and other cities. When are those hearings? Duh. Yeah, good point, Angela. That was a peaceful protest. And so,
But they were standing up to the establishment. And you know what? Instead of all of these social media platforms and everyone worrying about people speaking on them, the only thing you could do is, like I said, and I always say, go back to Sweden when they ran that toll and no one paid it and they turned it over and they won, is you have to do something, not to sit at a keyboard or sit on a podcast and complain. You have to do something. You have to do it. You have to do something.
Mazi wants to know what is happening with the lawsuit we filed. Well, that's a good question. So the city keeps on asking for delays and the judges keep on giving it to them. And I'm just hoping that now that the Supreme Court ruled, that we're going to see a positive outcome. Because here's the thing. In their decision, the judges talked about the fact that you need to have the legislature has to pass a law, and that's what our lawsuit said, is that the mayor of the city of New York does not have a right through the city charter to make a mandate, a vaccine mandate. If the state legislature wants to give the mayor that right, they can, but de Blasio never went up and asked the state legislature for the right. So we're hoping that now we'll get some movement on the lawsuit.
I don't think, but I honestly truly feel that they gave everybody Omicron. Now all of a sudden everybody got it, even vaccinated and unvaccinated at once. I think these tests are bullshit. I think there's many false positives. I think that this is their plan so that they don't have to look dumb when they say, oh, well, this vaccine doesn't work. Now everybody has natural herd immunity and they all have antibodies now because they gave it to them, and they're going to use this as a clutch to say, you know what, this is over with. Instead of looking stupid, they're going to put an end to this. Watch, it's going to be over. Everybody it's over. This is their plan. Everybody has everybody in 2 weeks. Everybody in the whole world got it. Everybody. Yeah. Everybody with natural immunities, non-natural immunities, herd immunities, vaccinations, boosters, everybody got it at once. They think we're dumb. This is it. I mean, it could have been a sinus. There could be no Omicron. To me, it felt like a super duper sinus infection. Like I had one.
Yeah, Jen is more of a conspiracy theorist than I am.
Not a conspiracy theorist at all. They're a bunch of assholes. That's it. It's just they think we're dumb. Most of us are.
Well, I don't disagree with you. And I think, Biden says this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. I say this is a pandemic of the news media. The news media created this. The news media is complicit in this. The political parties, especially the Democrat Party, wanted to make sure that we talked about this virus a lot. Because it was going to help them capture the White House, and they were right. But now the tides are turning. See, I guess Biden didn't think that it would flip on them, because we have to remember that Cuomo, Harris, Biden all said they'd never take the vaccine because it was Trump developed the vaccine. Everybody has to remember Donald Trump and Warp Speed created this vaccine, and the first vaccines were going out in December to the vulnerable. And to the elderly.
But here's my thing. Now everybody has to be, I think it was December. They gave a deadline in New York or something for the workplace. Now everybody had Omicron. Everybody. So whether or not you were vaccinated or not, now you have to wait 90 days to get the vaccine, because we know what happens. You get AFib like I did. You have to wait. So now they're going to lose a ton of money because somebody's sleeping. Obviously, our government's sleeping in bed with the devil, and that devil's Pfizer and China. So
it's all the big companies.
Yeah, they're making money. Everything is getting, it's being recycled back into the country, and or everyone's piggybacking. Pfizer's making a ton of money. This was the deal that was made, but now nobody else you can't get the vaccine right now. So now for 90 days, since the whole country just had it in the past 2 weeks, nobody's going to be able to get this for 90 days. So what's going to happen? There can be no vaccination talk for 90 days. There can't be, because the
No, they
CDC.
can. You're just presuming that that every doctor is going to tell their patients to wait 90 days.
No,
That's not true. I mean, I saw something. I saw a commercial from the city of the deputy health commissioner saying that you could take the flu vaccine and the COVID vaccine in the same day. Yet there are doctors that say absolutely not. You can't do that. They won't. They won't always. They don't give you the flu and the pneumonia vaccine in the same day, or the shingles vaccine in the same day. But there are some doctors that will do it. So again, it's it's making it up as it goes along, and that's the really big problem here.
Well, at least COVID stays around all day long, and he doesn't come out at night. And it's 24
Okay.
hours. He's around. We could stay open now. Omicron is at its height, but all the restaurants could stay open until 3, 4 in the morning. Now it's fine.
Yeah. Well, as Mazzy says, doctors are recommending you wait 30 days. Yes, but that it's not all doctors. And here's a big question to me: why isn't the COVID vaccine given to the doctors for them to give it? See, two things.
Because they're not going to get the money that they wanted. This is all a plan. It's all never mind. I do sound like a QAnon fucking conspiracy theorist.
No. But what I'm saying is, if you truly want the people to follow this, if it was really, really important, and if it was, if this was such a deadly, I hear people saying, oh, the smallpox vaccine, and you're mandated for measles, and those illnesses were far heavier killers than now Omicron. But that aside, those vaccines, 50 years of study, blah, 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 studied in every different way. But if they wanted to truly get the American people to buy into this whole vaccine thing, then they wouldn't call it a vaccine. They'd call it a shot, because then when you call it a shot, you got wiggle room. You're allowed to be wrong and have people get sick, right? They would also give it to their doctors to administer, not government centers, because who the hell, any government thing that's coming out, the government wants to give me something, even money, I'm suspicious of it, because
but you can get a pharmacy and a doctor. You can. I got mine at Rosebank Pharmacy. You can get it at the vaccine. You don't have to go to a government place.
Your vaccine, you got a Rosebank Pharmacy? Yeah, but what doctor? I didn't say pharmacy. What doctor?
No, the lady who rings up the register gave it to me.
Yeah. Think about that. The lady that rung her up at the register administered your COVID vaccine.
Prescriptions too, but she's definitely not a doctor.
But the doctor's offices don't have them. When you go to your doctor, you get your flu shot. Your doctor has your flu shot. Your doctor says, here's your blood pressure, here's your this, here's your that, whatever. Now I know all your information. I'm going to give you your flu shot because I believe it's safe for you. We're not doing the same thing with this shot. And I'm not going to call it a vaccine anymore. It's a shot. And the other thing is, if they would have taken natural immunity into a consideration, I think many more people would have been trusted with the information.
They should have just made it with plasma. I would have gotten that if they took everybody's antibodies and spun them from plasma and did that, and used that as the vaccine, which is
I meant to take into account if somebody has antibodies. See, that to me, that should have been the first thing before you get your shot. Check to see if you have antibodies. If you do, in the same level as you're going to have from the COVID shot, then why do you need the shot?
But even those tests, so there should be one test for everything. One test for the COVID, one kind of test for antibodies, because they're all different. They're all administered differently. They're all ranged differently. They're tested differently. So basically, none of it really means anything at all. at all. It doesn't mean anything. I don't think they give it to the doctors because, like you said before, there's no control then over it, over what, how they give it and how much, if they charge for it. They don't want them making money. They don't want them, and also the doctors can pretend to put it in your arm and write it down. There's no control. You lose control when it becomes out of your eyesight.
Right. So it's government control. Kim Salvo says you have to have a specific medical license to administer medicines, shots. Many doctors do not have it. Okay. I didn't know
The lady
that.
at the big pharmacy have.
Well, maybe she has a medical license. I don't know. Susie Gaeta says administering vaccine requires informed consent, and most doctors refuse to administer these products due to a lack of data of ingredients, which is considered medical malpractice. Susie, that was the best answer. You know what? It's true. I something happened the other day that drove me nuts. I was watching TV and I saw a commercial for the vaccine, and it was a young mother. She had to be in her 20s, and she said she was thinking about the vaccine, but she wasn't sure because she wanted to start a family, and she got the vaccine. And
why can't I see you? There you are.
And the next day, she learned that she was pregnant, and she's pushing a stroller, and they showed this like 3 or 4 month old baby in the stroller, and she says, I'm so happy I got my vaccine.
The vaccine got her pregnant.
My baby was born healthy, and everything is fine.
How does she know what's going to happen?
Well, but then I started thinking about it. The 20 some odds didn't get the okay to get the vaccine, right? Because we let it out it was the most vulnerable first, then it was seniors, then it was super seniors, then it was seniors and healthcare workers and whatever. But the 20 something, they didn't say it was their turn to have the vaccine till somewhere around June. This is January. How'd she have that baby so fast?
Lies. It's all lies.
That's the thing that gets me crazy, because she couldn't have been pregnant because she would have still been pregnant. She couldn't have gotten the vaccine and been pregnant if she was just a healthy.
The baby was 3 months. It was 9 months premature, and it lived because it had the antibodies.
That's so COVID is a fertility drug. Yeah. But that's the kind of bullshit that the government is feeding us, and they're paying with our tax dollars. They're paying for commercials to dupe us, and that is where we have the problem, and that's why people do not trust.
That makes sense because the government, Pfizer, which I'm pretty shocked. I mean, they're the ones making the commercials, not Pfizer. You don't see a Pfizer commercial for the shot. You only see city-funded commercials.
Government commercials. That's right.
Yeah. So, like all the private medications for glaucoma, not glaucoma, for diabetes, for high blood pressure, for erectile dysfunction, they all say can cause death, can cause nightmares, can cause diarrhea, can cause dehydration, can cause delusion, can cause seizures. It tells you everything that it can cause. But when the shot, it's just says, oh, just get it. My doctor said get it. And you can get pregnant. They assure you that you can get pregnant. There's no way that they tested anybody in less than a year to figure out if it caused any kind of
right. It's physiologically, it's impossible because, I mean, unless they had to tell you somebody ready to go or whatever, when they were testing the vaccine. And even then, how many people is it? Okay, so here's my question to the audience. How many people have lost their job or left their job because of these mandates or for whatever reason, COVID? There's something going on in the world called the Great Resignation. And it started with the COVID lockdowns, and it seems to be continuing on, where people are actually leaving their jobs and they're doing something else. So there was a story in the Advance today, which is our local newspaper, about a woman who started her own company, and it said that across the nation, there have been tens of thousands of applications for new businesses because of COVID. So has anybody out there? I see Mazzy says she either lost or left her job because of these mandates. What are you doing now? Is anybody? What I want to do is I want to know what your new business is. And next Friday, I want you to send to me, and you can email me at LB Remauro. I'll actually type it in at gmail.com, and tell us about your new business and send us some information. What's that?
Make a COVID Rotary Club?
Yeah, let's make an online COVID Rotary Club, and we'll talk about it, on the air and help you promote it, because I love the idea that people, have said, screw this, I'm taking control of my life, and I'm going to do something with my future, that I decide. And that's what we are looking for. I think that's what we need more of in America. I think these are the patriots, right? These are the people that are living the American dream, and it gives me hope for our future. So email me if you've started your new business, or if you're doing something new, or if you want to give kudos to anyone who is doing the right thing by their employees during the, and saying F you to city mandates or state mandates or whatever, and saying that I know how to keep my employees safe and my customers safe, because that's what small business owners do. So I'd love to hear that. Kim Salvo, you think I'm going to let de Blasio's commie crap tell me I can't work? You go, Kim. That's right. You don't let anybody tell you what to do.
He got vaccinated and he still never worked.
Who's that?
I said he got vaccinated and he still never worked.
And that's the truth. Well, and the things that he did work, he screwed up royally. So do you think Jen, do you think he's going to still run for governor? Really?
Yeah, for my benefit, I hope he does. I haven't TikTok in a while.
So what's your latest TikTok? What was your rant about yesterday?
No, nothing. I haven't done TikTok. I really don't want to make fun of Sewell. I like her.
Okay.
And Adams, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I really don't have anyone. I don't want to make fun of AOC. She's boring. She could just make fun of herself. I haven't done anything. I think I did one. I don't even remember. I sent it to you. I did it the other day. I forget who I was making fun of.
Okay.
Oh, I had that little kid say douchebag de Blasio. That's right. And then I got in trouble by her father.
By her father? I was wondering. That was a questionable judgment.
Department and gave it a fuck de Blasio t-shirt and made her say douchebag de Blasio.
Yeah.
She's 87.
That was questionable. Well, I think that, I wanted to give Adams the benefit of the doubt, but the allowing non-citizens to vote in our city elections is just
it's
a
not
step too far.
I thought we voted against that. I thought that we voted and we won on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back thing.
Those were propositions. Those were for state, and they were same-day voting, no excuse absentee ballots, all that stuff.
I don't understand why no one has a job anymore. Why is it so hard to vote? Why are we extending it to days and making it a federal holiday? Everybody's been doing this, and everyone had 2 jobs, raising a family when they had to do this, and they all managed to go vote with the card. And now nobody has a job. I went to Wynwood yesterday for a lunch work, and there was like 100 people there drinking mimosas. I said, what the hell? But nobody works. So what's the difference? What is the difference? What is it? Go vote. Like, go get out. It takes 20 minutes and go do it. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. Everyone's so busy.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you have to show your ID for so many things in this country now, and not for voting, which
the mall security guard asks you for your license and your vaccine card if you want to sit in the food court in the Staten Island Mall, but you can walk through the mall with no mask and eat, but you can't sit by yourself at a table and eat. They ask for your ID, but they don't ask anything at the voting booth.
COVID is spread when you sit at a table.
COVID COVID really likes to hang out in the food court.
Yeah, COVID loves food for some reason. Well, why not? Yes, another fat, but you would think that
Look at him. Look how fat he looks. He's a big blob. Look,
with all those spikes.
high blood.
Um, yeah, listen. So for me, Adams. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do. Anybody. I think we can all agree. Anybody's better than De Blasio. Anybody. I mean, my dog can do a better job than De Blasio. But that Adams undermining our election process, putting doubt in voters' minds that the election is trustworthy, and that's what is going on. Not only what happened in New York City, but what's happening in Congress right now with Joe Biden and what they're trying to do. I mean, they're big lies about the way Georgia changed the voting rights. The ability to vote. They actually extended the opportunity to vote. They made it easier for people to vote. They made it more secure for people to vote, and they did it in such a way.
Wrong. That's why it's wrong, because they did it in a way to protect the vote integrity. They did it in a way that was going to make everything legitimate. So that right there became racist. I can't say it too loud because everyone can hear me, but I don't want to get killed when I leave here. I can't.
And it'll live on the internet forever.
No, but I live amongst people, and they'll just hear that one word. They won't hear the whole conversation of how I'm saying what's going on. But that's what it is. It's that they made it easier but more secure, and now it's become a problem with everybody because they can't get around it.
I mean, it comes back down to when you say a certain group of people or have uh, more talents or less talents or more ability or less ability based on the color of their skin, their religion, or their gender. When you start saying that all people of those groups have different problems and issues, but all those issues are the same, that is what I have been taught my whole life is racism. Lumping a group of people together and saying, all red people are this way, all blue people are this way, or yellow people are that way, all white people are that way, and that's racism. And to presume that because somebody has a skin color of this or that, they can't get a photo ID is not only ludicrous, not only embarrassing, but it is degrading and it is racist. And I will say it every single time. People should be judged as individuals, not by the color of their skin, their gender, or their religion.
That goes back to what we said about voting down the line. You don't
That's
do
right.
it.
Or their
look
party.
At that. We opened the show and we closed it like a true
that's it. We brought it back around. So before I go,
everyone has a finger.
What's that?
I said they should fingerprint, make it easy. Then no one could say anything. I said everyone has a finger, and I'm sure there'll be a group of people that are fingerless, and they'll have something to say. But there's not that many of them, so.
Well, there's always an alternative.
They have toes.
Yeah, there's an alternative. So January 28th, our guest is going to be Silver Wolf. She is the head for New York State of the Convention of States. For our audience, you should take a look, conventionofstates.com. I think it's cos.com. cos.com. Look at it. It is a movement by the people to actually change the Constitution, to demand term limits, a balanced budget, and some other things on the platform. The writers of the Constitution included in it this Convention of States, where the people who may have lost faith in Congress because Congress was corrupt or whatever, they put it in there. And we see our Congress right now is stalemated a lot and having, this big division. And sometimes the only way to get things done is to have the people come back and do it. And yes, voting should take care of that, but it doesn't because we're more divided now than ever. So go and take a look at Convention of States. Silver Wolf will be our guest, but you should also go on the website and sign up to volunteer. I did sign the petition. I did. You want to take, things into our own hands. This is a way for us to
You have
actually do
something. You
something.
just can't talk about it.
Yeah, how easy is
Yeah.
it? It's making phone calls to your legislators, or writing emails, or being on social media, right? So once you fill out the form, yeah, Angela, we should have a contest to name the podcast. But once you fill out the volunteer form, you're going to immediately get back a form, telling you that there's classes and all kinds of things for you to do, and you could do it from your own home. So that's that. Let me just see what Rob says, because he's keeping us up to date. The House has voted for something so egregious, you must write your senators. Today, they voted to federalize elections. They took HR1 and HR4 and tucked them into a new bill called the NASA bill. Nothing unexpected from here, right? Why would you look for a voting right in a bill that has to do with outer space? Because the swamp, I think this is too long for me to put up on the screen.
It's up.
Because the swamp is
I
adding
see
more
it.
ingredients to take power and control and
Oh, no.
increasing dependency. Wow. Yeah, you should all take a look at that. Okay, Jen, you have the last word.
Somebody keeps calling me. It's probably an emergency. I don't know. It's a 718 number. I keep denying it, but now it's 7 times. So I don't need.
Okay, well, go find out what's going on. All right, everybody, next week, 3:30, and we'll see you then. Thanks for listening. Bye.